All right, and welcome to the latest episode of the Silverfox Hustle podcast. We are on episode number 60, by the way. And if you just listen to this podcast for the very first time, this podcast is all about sharing the love, sharing about the hustle of my guest and their content, right? So please share the love with your family and friends. We are on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcast. And speaking about guests and their stories in their lives. The word and the name Fandi, right? That name alone, people, in Singapore would say, yeah, footballer. Yeah, the best footballer Singapore has ever produced, Singapore's favorite footballing star. And even, some might even go and say and mention Irfan, might mention Iksan or Ilhan, right? But you know what? Forget about the boys today. Because the star of the show today on episode number 60, a milestone, by the way, is the rose amongst the thorns in the Fandi household. Now, she used to be a sprinter in school and once clocked 13.58 seconds. I don't think I ever did that, ever. At 14, she started modeling, following mom's footsteps, and she has appeared on the covers of Harper's Bazaar and Nylon, and has endorsed brands like Body Shop and Adidas. Currently, she is a singer, songwriter, for her record label Universal Music. She recently released a second single, Love Me a Little More. Welcome to the Silverfox Hustle podcast, Miss Iman Fandi.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, and thanks for being here. I know you have been very busy, and it's tough getting to you, and I got to say thank you, a shout out to your dad as well, to Adrian, and to Universal Music as well. Thank you for allowing this to happen, so thank you so much. But let's start off with your latest single, right, to warm up a little bit. And
sure.
Tell us more about this single.
So, like you said, I just released my second single, Love Me a Little More. And this single, before I released it, I already knew that I wanted to put out a second song that was like summer romance with a tropical beat behind it. And I had already knew what kind of sound I wanted. It was just the lyrics and the topic that I wanted to write about. So just in time, when I was coming up with this song, this song is actually about my friend's experience.
Okay.
It's not about my experience.
Okay.
And she was just telling me like her troubles with in a relationship, and it's a bit one-sided. So I actually told her like, hey, I'm gonna write a song about this situation. And it initially was called Failed Again.
Okay.
It was called Failed Again, and then it turned into Love Me a Little More. And it's basically just about one-sided love, when you put in so much effort and the other person's not giving it back, and all you want to do is to keep that person in your life because you're so scared to lose that person because you don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
So that's how it all came about. And then the whole production of it, I worked with a producer and a writer through Zoom. Zoom call, because they were overseas. They were in Sweden.
Okay.
So we had one day to kind of finalize everything and then clean it up. Right. And I worked with John Haynes, who mixed the song, and that's how it came about, and now it's out.
Nice. And how has response been to that single?
The response has been great, honestly. I think also because it's such a different song from Time Frame, my first single.
Okay.
I'm just so happy that people still appreciated the difference, and also the music video is also out, and it's also very different. Right. And I've just been so happy, and also busy promoting it, yeah.
I'm very curious, right? And obviously, I'm not a songwriter or whatever, right? So how long is the time period for someone to like maybe think of a song and then start writing it till the day it gets out? Like, what is the average like?
So usually to write a song, I can usually take between 1 to 3 days to fully write a song and make it clean and everything like that. But the process of producing it and cleaning it up and putting it out, it takes, I would say, maybe 2 months, like a full 2 months kind of thing if you're working everything together. Like between 2 to 3 months with the music video if you want to, because things take time to get processed.
I know. And listen, this podcast is all about the hustle, right?
Yeah.
That is a hustle on its own, because you talk about that's one song, right? And
yeah.
if you got an album or EP,
yeah.
that takes like, I don't know, ages, man. It's crazy.
It takes very fast to write the song, but it's the process in between of working it to get out. So that's the only
It's fast to write a song.
I think so, but it depends. If I have great
Okay.
inspiration, then it takes me very fast. But
Okay.
if it's on a topic that I have no idea about, it does take me time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So that is the latest single, and we'll talk a little bit about your music and stuff like that. Let's go way back a little bit. Not way back, you're still very young. Growing up, right? How was it like growing up in a Fandi household?
I get this question so
Yeah.
many times, honestly, but I don't know how I should answer it to people because it's so normal for me.
Right.
You know, because I was born into the family and having 4 brothers.
Yeah.
Of course, when I was about 10 years old, because I used to live in Indonesia from
Okay.
about 6 to 10.
Yeah.
When I came back from Indonesia and started going into school here in Singapore, I realized that something weird is like happening with my family because people were asking for pictures and like my dad
not
was,
in Indonesia.
in Indonesia, I think I didn't really see it because
Okay.
I was in school a lot and
Right,
just
right.
hanging out with my friends. But
Okay.
when I came back to Singapore, then I realized like, oh, like we're having a family photo shoot. Like my dad's going for interviews and I see
Right.
my brothers coming in
Yes.
and out of the house a lot and traveling.
Yeah.
So that's when it kind of clicked to me that like, oh, my dad's famous.
Right,
You know, but growing up, I think although we grew up like that, or I grew up like that with my brothers, and I think the great thing that I really appreciate is that my parents are super supportive with everything we do,
Okay.
and they always tell us like no matter what you do, whether it's small or big, always respect people, always be humble, always be nice to everybody that you meet, and you can like do whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
That is great advice, by the way. And yeah, so you only started knowing that the family was kind of famous when you got back to Singapore, right?
Yeah, only when I got back.
Okay, so while you were growing up, did you ever feel like the pressure to live up to the name? Because like you said, in Singapore, he's still big. No matter what people say, this and
Yeah.
that, he's still big, right? So was there pressure living that dream and
Oh,
stuff
of
like that?
course.
Yeah?
Of course there was. I felt pressure. I think when I was about getting into my
Yeah.
teenage years, I started going into sports school, and I think that's when I felt the pressure because
Okay.
I saw my brothers working so hard for football, and traveling to like Spain and Chile, and
Yeah.
I think I felt the pressure to kind of keep up with them and to kind of like okay, if I'm not gonna do track and field or soccer anymore, let me try modeling, and maybe I can do that standard of like with my mom, so the pressure was there to definitely uphold the name of the Fandi Ahmad family.
But the pressure came from yourself.
yeah,
didn't
for
it?
myself, yeah.
Did anyone from outside say something like,
I mean, I think you will always get hate or people that are jealous
Okay.
and will comment little
Right.
things, especially with social media
Yes.
right now.
Definitely.
So of course, when I was younger, I used to get like a lot of comments of like, oh, you're just Fandi Ahmad's child. Like
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
this because
yeah.
of him. You get that. You can do anything that you want because of my dad.
Right.
And I think that's also partially the reason why I kind of like hid music away from my family before I was ready to present it to
Right.
them and the world.
Right.
But no, yeah, most of the pressure came from myself.
Nice. What was it like growing up with 4 boys?
I think it was so fun.
And 5 plus dad, right?
Plus that, yeah.
How was
I think
like?
it was so fun because I was a tomboy.
Ah.
And they would always like play football and Nerf guns. And I think last time, there was this thing called like BB guns.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. But I definitely did wish that I had a bigger sister. I wish I had someone like a sister to look up to and kind of follow.
Okay.
Because I felt like being the only girl, I kind of had to learn how to be by myself and I had to be independent. Yeah.
So, was that where mom comes in then?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
definitely where mom comes in. And I
Right.
think we've gotten so much closer since like I've grown up. Yeah.
So growing up with those four boys, right? It must have been like you said it yourself, right? Tomboyish. So there was fighting and
Oh yeah,
playing
no,
it up,
we
right?
would literally actually fight.
Okay.
They wouldn't care if I was a girl. We would like fight and
Who
like
was the biggest
wrestle
bully?
and
Who
everything.
was the biggest bully? Come on, out with it.
Okay, I think honestly, it was Irfan. like
Since he was the biggest.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
And he was the oldest, but we would also like I remember these times like in Indonesia we would pull pranks on our helpers
Right,
together
right.
and but now like I mean Irfan's like his the big man and he's very quiet now. He's very
Okay.
like mature and just like
It comes with age, right?
yeah, it comes with age.
Right, nice. How are you in school, by the way? Like grades wise?
I think because I lived in Indonesia, I went to an international
Yeah.
school. So coming back to Singapore, definitely very different. The syllabus were harder.
Standards wise?
Sorry?
Standards wise as well?
It was harder here.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
definitely harder here in Singapore. But I mean, I was proud of myself because I think I went from an NA, normal academic,
Yes.
and then I pushed myself the next year into a
Great,
express.
great.
So I think express is what like everybody here in
Yeah.
Singapore is in. So I mean, I was proud of myself for doing that, and
Nice.
yeah, just friends wise, I think the only thing that sucked, like sorry if I can,
No,
I don't
no
know if I
worries.
can say that, was that I always came in the middle of the year. So I never really started a full year like in January.
Right.
So it was hard to like make friends a little bit. So that was something I was learning when I was younger. Yeah.
Okay. Now, just growing up, right? Do you think that you would be a model and a singer? Like just as you were growing, of course, looking up to dad, looking up to mom, who modeled as well, looking at pictures and stuff like that. Did you ever think then that that is one of the path or the destination, so to speak?
Modeling was definitely there.
Yeah?
I think
Okay.
because when I was 14, I even joined
Yeah.
a competition by myself.
Right.
And that kind of opened the doors into a bit more into modeling and like wow, I really like this and I enjoy it. And then I always loved music, and I think my family always knew that I loved music, and especially in Cape Town, my family from Cape Town, that side is very how do I say, they're very fun and expressive,
Yes,
and they
yes.
dance a lot.
Yes.
It's very different
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
So I think that kind of like instilled in me that like whoa, I like performing. I even have this cousin who always hears Bruno Mars, and he will just dance and like put on a show for everybody.
Right.
So, but music wasn't something that I was like, yes, I know I'm gonna do it since I was young. But definitely now, yeah.
Listen, actually, you're right? I mean, growing up, like most of us love music, right? Like we listen to music on the radio, and I don't know, sing in the bathroom or whatever. But nobody would, in the right frame of mind, would actually think that I'm going to be a singer, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
Like sports, but not really the singing part. So you've done well, actually. Right? Well, we'll talk about
you.
that later on, right? Now let's talk about the sports school, right? But before that, did sports come naturally to you in terms of the movements, the
Yeah.
fundamental movements, right? That's key, right? Did it come naturally to you?
I think it definitely
Yeah.
did like come a bit naturally. I know some people say like, oh, you have to learn it from young.
Yeah.
And maybe my dad did teach us from young how to, physically be ready for different things. But I think us as children and, myself, I was just also very into sports. I love activities and being outdoors.
Right. You went to the sports school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with athletics as the key.
Yeah, track and field.
Track and field, right? And what was your main sport, as in main
Event. So in sports school for track and field, we have like sprinters, long distance, and all the different like hurdlers
Right.
and all that
Right.
category.
Yeah.
So I was actually in a category where we trained for everything.
Really? Right.
So I
okay.
learned pole vault, shot put, long jump, sprints, relays, and high jump.
Did you
So-
choose that
No,
path?
so the coaches will
Ah,
put us into those.
Okay.
I used to focus on just sprinting, and then I got pulled into that team, which was like definitely so much fun because you get to
Yeah,
jump
yeah, of
around
course,
and
of course.
everything. But my main events would have to be relays,
okay.
100-meter sprints. I do not like 400, although they put me in
Because
a
of
lot.
the burn. at the
Yes,
end.
yes, and long jump.
You like long jump as well?
Yeah, I enjoyed long jump.
By the way, you talk about all that, right? Were you like one of the tallest person in school back then, or you
No,
average?
I
You
don't.
just
I don't
average?
think. I think I was about average, maybe slightly on the taller side. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but definitely like the net ballers were
Yeah,
were
okay.
way taller, and the long jumpers were also like pretty tall.
You did pole vault.
Yeah,
How was that?
It was
man.
tricky to learn, and it's a bit painful every time you miss, like, you know, because you have to use the stick and hit it into the ground, and you gotta jump over and bend your back. So it does hurt sometimes when the pole would fly down and like hit you. So you have to kind of dodge it when you land. Yeah.
Wow, that's a tough sport, by the way, right? And you clocked 13.58.
I don't even know. Like I'm even shocked you have my time.
No, I didn't stalk you with them, right? But I know it's 13.58, right? Let's take that.
I think so. Yeah.
So you did that at the sports school, obviously, right?
Yeah. So I was about 13 years old.
So while doing that and all, right? Did you think that could also be a path, like just sprinting alone? You talked about how Shanti Pereira has gone on and won the medal.
I trained with her, and she's doing amazing. She went to the Tokyo Olympics as well. Sprinting was something I enjoyed. Yeah. But it was something I knew I would never do competitively.
Okay, why?
Because I also left the sports school after 2 years.
Okay.
Because first of all, I was so scared of the gun. Every time.
You can't be scared of the gun if you're a sprinter.
I know, but it's just something that I get so scared of. And it's a real gun they use, so it's like boom. Yeah. And then it gives me like anxiety.
Right. Okay.
But I think it was the competition. Yeah. I didn't really enjoy it.
You didn't like the competition?
No.
Okay,
but I enjoyed when it was a team. Like relays, you're with a team.
Yeah.
So I think that was something that I was missing. Like in football, it's different. You have a team with you.
Right.
When you do sprints, it's just you alone. So I think that's why I didn't really enjoy it. And the training was just like hectic, man. Yeah. It was every morning and night.
I wanted to ask you, right? How was the sports school experience in terms of, what did you learn? Because obviously it's pretty routine, right? Every single day is breakfast. I mean, training and breakfast and whatever, right? So what did you learn from the sports school? Even in those 2 years, I'm sure you've learned quite a bit.
When I was in sports school, they have a boarding system. I was definitely boarding, and I only went back home it's basically like NS. Like you only come home on Saturday and Sundays. True. But I definitely knew and learned how to become more independent. Time management, they taught us that a lot, and eating healthy. Because they had a nutrition in school for us.
So how does that work in terms of, let's say, for example, lunch, right? So it's all set up for you already, right?
Yeah, so it's like a buffet, and they have...
all healthy food.
They have like chicken or meat, and then they have fish options.
And it's all
so you go to
healthy.
the line. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But it was good, basically.
It was good. It was tasty. And then on special occasions, they'll give like lasagna or mac and cheese.
Special occasions. Okay. So you left the sports school after 2 years? Yeah. Tell us what.
It was just because I think I wasn't enjoying track and field anymore. Okay. And also at that time, I think because it was my first time also fasting and training, because during the Ramadan we fast and we train at the same time. So I lost a lot of weight, and I think my energy was also diminishing, and my results in track and field were also kind of dropping. And I think my mind just wasn't in track and field anymore. So I just shifted to a local school.
Right. There goes the sports career then. So in a way, right?
Yeah.
So and you left school, and then you did some private
So after Sec 2, I went to CHIJ St. Joseph's to finish until Sec 4, and then I went into like a semi-private but local school here in Singapore called TMC Academy, and that's where I did my psychology degree. Okay, so you are a degree holder in psychology. Yes.
Right? Yeah. Psychologist. Let's talk about modeling, right, Iman? You started at 14.
I started officially on my own at 14, yes.
What do you mean by on your own?
Because at 14, I joined the competition.
Was it the TNP?
Yeah, the New Paper, New Face. Okay. And this, I also hid it a bit for my mom.
You seem to be doing a lot of things on your own and not telling people about it. Okay.
I mean, I'm the only girl, so it's easy for me to hide and just
right. Okay.
get away with things.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so I hid it, and then because I didn't expect me to actually get approved to be in the show and to be a finalist and all that. So when I was invited, I brought my mom, and ever since the show, I think that's when I really took modeling a bit more serious on my own. Because before that, I would model like with my mom side by side. Yeah.
No, I'm asking you because I'm just curious and ignorant as well, right? What is like how young can you be to be like a model?
Like a model.
Yeah.
Honestly, it can be any age. You
Yeah.
can be a child model even.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm sure we all have seen like babies modeling
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Yeah, you can be any age. I think just before you're 18, you must just have a parent around.
Right.
Because there was
Okay.
some modeling gigs that I had to travel, like one to Johannesburg. So my mom had to follow
Okay.
me.
Right.
Yeah, for insurance claims and all that.
Insurance claim, right? How big was your mom's influence in? You said you started out on your own, but in terms of after that, right? Knowing that you have what it takes and stuff like that, influence wise in terms of advice and stuff, how big was she?
Oh, I mean, my mom has always given me advice since I
Yeah,
was young, you know.
right.
She always, I think there were even some pictures from young where she was the photographer and she was taking pictures of me,
Okay.
and she taught me how to be in front of the camera,
Right.
but also behind the scenes, working with the photographers,
Yeah.
the stylists, and
Okay.
you know, she gave me advice that up till now I still follow. Like always, when someone gives you your clothes, when the stylist gives
Yeah,
you your
yeah,
clothes, you
yeah.
always put it back on a hanger and you give it back to them
Wow.
like that, because that's the way that they gave it to you. So that's how you should give it back to them.
And I'm sure that doesn't happen all the times, right? As in with others, right?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's just something that I do, and
That's
I think it's great. You know, it's a
Yes.
form of respect, and also like different advice that my mom's given me, like catwalk, how to walk, how to shoulders
Yeah.
back, all those little things.
Listen, again, like I said, right? That's great advice, and it's like your upbringing and stuff like that. It really is very important. You can be the a degree holder. You can be a doctor even, right? But if you don't have the EQ and stuff like that, it's difficult, right? And that's great advice, and kudos to your parents. I think that's great. It's brilliant. And what is the most difficult part about modeling to you?
To me, oh, honestly, I don't think there's a difficult side of it, but of course, in the modeling industry, I think this was only in the past. I don't know if it still happens now because of the diversity that's happening
Okay,
now.
okay.
There's so much more, plus size models
Ah.
and different races right now that
Okay.
are represented in the modeling industry. So that's a bit that's great, honestly.
Yes,
So
yes.
I wouldn't say like that's. I don't know what is the worst thing. I think the only like worst thing would have to come from personal experience
Okay.
of like, oh, I'm doubting myself, that
Yeah.
kind. It's that my own thoughts that eat me up.
Right. And I like the part about you saying that it's not only about the advice from your mom wasn't only about the modeling bit, right? It's about dealing with people
Yes.
and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think it goes people don't know, right? Because it's just about seeing you in a publication, for example, but they don't know what goes behind
the
scenes.
scenes, yeah.
I think that's important,
Yeah.
right?
And I think that happens a lot in life as well.
Right.
Like no matter what you do,
Right.
not a lot of people knows what goes behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They just see like the picture or the results or whatever it is.
The TNP new face, right? It was pretty successful because you won 2 titles. You didn't win
Yeah.
the major
No,
ones, right?
yeah.
But you did win Miss Popularity and New Look Miss Fashionista. What was that
Yeah.
about?
So I think these were just like little titles that they had to
Yeah.
in the competition.
Right.
It was just who I don't know what it exactly represents.
Miss
but I was
Popularity,
just-
the Miss you're
I
the
guess
most popular person.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And Miss Fashionista was
So I think that was maybe
Your fashion
my
sense.
fashion sense,
right.
or maybe like in photo shoots, how you take a picture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, this is just something that I thought of, right? Was there any like infighting? I
Like-
know
like
you go to
cat
pageants.
fights?
Yeah, like pageants and stuff like that. No?
No.
Nobody backstabbing each other
No,
to win.
I think that's the only thing you see like on reality TV.
Maybe.
But I mean, in the competition, I'm so grateful that everybody was actually really nice,
Yeah.
and the whole experience was really fun.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. All right, Iman, let's talk about you singing and being a songwriter and stuff, right? And when you were growing up, right, what were the songs you were listening to and, your musical influence?
I was listening, surprisingly, because of my dad. I was listening to a lot of Eminem, Linkin Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Your dad listens to Eminem?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And his favorite is Linkin Park also.
Okay.
And I
Does-
mean
does he rap?
Beyonce, of course.
I know he can sing, but does he rap?
I don't know. I mean, in the car, he'll just like tap on the, you know, the
The
steering
steering
wheel.
Okay, right. Okay.
Beyonce a lot.
Right,
And then
okay.
my mom influences me when it comes to, this is like Rosa, you know, her era,
okay,
like
okay.
Rosa.
Right.
Yeah. So I was listening to a lot of that when I was
Yeah.
very young. And then
Okay.
it started becoming my own of Rihanna.
And,
Yeah.
and singing wise, right? Did you like, okay, maybe I don't know, you could be in the singing with friends or whatever, right? Did you think that maybe, hey, I've got a pretty cool voice, or maybe if you want to be humble, maybe your friends told you that, like, you know, hey, you can sing. Did it come across like that?
I always thought my voice was just like normal, like everybody can just like sing.
Okay, okay.
And
No,
then
trust me, we've heard. Yeah.
and then I think when we started going for like karaoke as family and like have friends around, then one of my friends said to me like, "Oh,
Okay.
you have a nice voice," and I was like, "Oh, thank you. Okay,
Right,
I never
right.
thought about that." Yeah.
So, you know, you just, I think you can just rewind just a little bit, right? So when did the idea of you becoming a singer come about? Like when? Like you thought about it and you said, hey, you know, let's go.
I've always had the idea because I love to, you know, sometimes you stand in front of the mirror, then you hear a song and you're just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm performing
Yeah.
to myself all that
Yeah.
time. So that happens a lot when I was younger. And
Okay.
then it was actually a birthday resolution. Before I turned 19, I wanted to try and, because I was writing a lot of songs at this
Okay.
time, like in a notebook and in my phone notes.
Yeah.
So as a 19 like birthday resolution, I wanted to put out a song just for
Okay.
myself. You know, I wasn't going to
Okay.
do anything about it, and it happened to be Time Frame
Okay.
because you know, Time Frame was one of the songs that
Yeah.
I finished completely.
Okay.
And then I went into the studio for the very first time, recorded it all, and I was
On
gonna,
your own. On your own.
yeah, I had some friends that were in the music industry.
okay.
Estelle Fly
Right,
and
okay.
Jason from Homeground Studios were the
Okay.
first two people that actually introduced me into
Okay.
the music industry, and that's kind of how it came
Yeah.
about. And just before distributing Time Frame, Universal got a hold of it, and that's when it like kind of
Right.
like the bigger idea, the bigger picture came
Right.
out. Yeah.
Right. And then things got a little bit serious.
Yes,
And you
yes,
thought, wow,
yes.
this is so surreal, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like this is something that I could really do because I love it, you know?
Okay, at which point did your parents come to know
Find
about
out.
this? Yeah, find out.
Okay, they only found out after I signed
What?
with Universal.
After you signed with them.
After I signed with,
Okay.
but you know Adrian, Uncle
Yes,
Adrian,
yes.
he's our family manager,
Yeah.
and he knew already because I was going to the meetings with him. But
So he kept it a secret as well from.
I think he was telling my dad a little bit like, oh, you know,
Yeah,
Iman's
that-
doing
okay.
this here and there. But my dad never really asked me personally until I was ready to be like,
Yeah.
okay, this is it. Or he'll just see me leaving the house
Yeah.
so many times, and he asks, where are you going? And I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, to the studio. He's like, oh, the studio?
Okay. And you know, I just heard him on the radio. I don't know whether you heard it on 91.3, and he said that you're always in your room and you know always quiet.
Yeah.
But he also said that you are probably one of the most hardworking persons he's seen
Aw.
and experienced, right? And I heard this on radio. You can ask people, right? So you were always in your room, like doing stuff and writing songs, obviously, right? And
Yeah,
stuff
watching
like that.
TV.
Yeah. How did they take this after you signed and told them? What was their reaction like?
They were very supportive, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really say anything that was like, oh no, like I don't think you should be doing this. It was more like, oh wow, like congratulations, you know, how many songs you're gonna put out. They're very interested, especially my dad. Since this song came out, he's like, oh, when's the next one?
Yeah.
Is it out already? I'm like, no, it's not out yet.
Right.
And he just asked like, oh, is it gonna be music videos for the rest? And you know, you're gonna put out an album.
Yeah.
So he just asked a lot of questions like that.
Right. And you know, you kept it from them, right? And then you sang the song and you recorded the music video even, right? So there was a what was it called? The premiere of the song?
Yeah, there was a press conference.
The press conference.
To premiere me
Yeah.
as an artist
Yeah, right.
with Universal, and also for my first single, Time Frame.
How
and
was
they,
that?
They,
How
they
was
came.
that? How was that?
I think it
must
was
have been
amazing. Yeah, it was honestly a really amazing experience for me, and I think for my family, because this is like a new chapter, a new venture that I'm going into, and I think the whole press conference was a success. And when they saw the music video and like my family was there, they actually cried.
Really?
Yeah, they cried, and my friends were there too, and they were like, "Oh, I'm tearing up," because
Right.
I think it's just so emotional to see like how much hard work is put in,
Yeah.
and now this is how it comes out.
And the satisfaction as well, isn't it? Because you said, right, you wanted to do things on your own and not get any handouts because of, you know, your
Yes,
parents who they were and stuff like that, right? And that's brilliant, right? And you know that is very nice to see as well, right? You going on your own, and that probably the end part, the end product, so to speak, must have vindicated your decision, right, to go out on your own and try things on your own.
I was very proud of myself that I was able to kind of, you know, I of course want to still be in the Fandi Ahmad family, you know.
Please do. Yes, please stay.
No, but it's just I kind of wanted to make my own name.
Yeah.
Because even my brothers right now, they're making their own
Yeah.
name, being
True.
you know, Irfan in Thailand and Iksan in Norway, and I think I kind of felt like, oh no, like what if I don't do something like that? What if I can't break out? So I think that pushed me even more to take that step, take that leap into doing something that I want.
Congratulations, because you know the way you said it, right? It's huge pressure, like right? You said it yourself.
Yeah, I felt so nervous, even coming out as an artist. I think,
Yeah.
but back of my head, I was like, oh no, what are people gonna think? Are they gonna listen to the song? What if nobody listens to the song? Or like, is it okay if I come out as an artist now? So there were so many, you know, thoughts in my head before I made the decision. But I think everybody needs to take the risk because it's something that I want to do and I love. So why not? If not, then I'll be regretting.
Don't worry about people loving the music or what, you know, going just judging from your TikToks and from your Instagram and stuff. Like, I think you're doing fine, right? I'm sure.
Thank
right?
you.
Now, how has the whole music journey, or you know, been so far? And obviously, it's a very short career. It's going to be longer, I'm sure, right? But how has it been so far? Like 2 singles and a couple of EP coming up soon.
Yes, so I mean, so far it's been great. You know, we've been working with my team on trying to put out more songs, and even with this second single just before the end of the year now, I think it's great that we were able to push it out before Christmas time and the holidays, so you guys can listen to it.
Yes.
But I am working on an EP with a couple of songs in, and that's kind of like my focus for the next step right now, and I hope to be able to release it next year because it's going to be songs filled with different emotions. That's like a little hint because I want to take you guys on a emotional roller coaster, you know, something for you to dance to be happy, something for you to cry to, just something for everybody.
It's a good point, because I just want to ask you this, right? It just came into my head right after your answer. How would you categorize your kind of songs, like genre, for example? Like how do you? It's difficult to put a finger on it, right?
I would definitely say it's like a mix of pop and R&B with a little bit of dance hall.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's so specific and nice, right? So there you go. What do you think about you know, a singer here in Singapore? Is it difficult to?
I think I wouldn't say it's difficult. I think the only disadvantage that we have here in Singapore is our population.
Okay.
You know, compared to around the world, like in America or in Europe or even Australia, everywhere else, I think the Singapore population is just very small for us to be able to branch out globally like as easy as you know, other people can. But I definitely think that there's so much hidden talents here in Singapore that slowly I hope they come out because, you know, I have heard some musicians here in Singapore that have so much potential to just like skyrocket internationally, and it's just finding the right time probably, and you know, keep working hard to for us to all keep working hard to reach the international
Speaking
level.
of which, anyone to look out for, do you think?
To look out for?
Yeah, anyone?
Well, I have a friend. His name is Yao.
Okay, right.
He actually also just signed with Universal, and he's
local,
amazing.
he's local,
He's
right?
local, His name is Yao. He just signed with Universal, and his songs are very unique, and I just love the way that he writes, and his melodies and his songs are really good. And I think he's also releasing today.
Right.
Yeah, today.
Actually, I heard it yesterday on 98.7.
Ah.
Right? I think they premiered the song yesterday with Joakim on 98.7.
Yeah, he's very good.
Right.
And he's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any chance of you going overseas or maybe trying to reach out, because you said about branching
Yeah.
out just now, right?
Yeah, that's a plan. You know, I think maybe once the COVID situation settles down a bit, then we
Yeah.
can start thinking about working overseas a little bit more, because I definitely want to work with other artists to collab and producers
Okay.
and writers overseas, and
Yeah.
to hopefully base somewhere for a little bit to learn and to evolve and to kind of grow my music.
Great. Well, Iman, before we go, right, before we wrap up things, there's this 10 questions I need to ask you. It's a quick
Okay,
fire round.
let's
and
go.
It's easy peasy for you, right? We'll start off with the easiest one of all, right?
Okay.
What's your favorite food and drink?
Easy? This is not easy.
Oh, you eat a lot.
Well, I like different types of food.
Okay, what? Just one.
Okay. Top of my head, food,
Yeah.
laksa.
Laksa. Drink.
Drink.
Which laksa? From where? You have a specific katong laksa?
No, I don't have any
Oh, I don't know.
specific though.
Yeah, okay. So you just like laksa.
Yeah, I love laksa.
Okay. Drink.
Drink.
That's healthy for you from the sports school.
They never gave us laksa.
Exactly. Drink.
Drinks, I don't know. I drink a lot of water.
Okay.
Or like iced lemon tea. Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, right? Rihanna, Beyonce, or Shakira?
Rihanna.
Really?
Yeah, she does a lot now. She's like a boss entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah, very inspirational.
So you're moving in that direction, right?
Hopefully.
Maybe a perfume out soon.
Yeah.
Iman. Sounds nice, right? Khalid or The Weeknd?
Okay, The Weeknd.
Yeah, okay.
The Weeknd.
Great.
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Who is tougher on you, mom or dad?
Mom.
Tougher.
Mom.
Okay.
Dad is very quiet when it comes to me.
When it comes to discipline, is it? I think it's the dad and
No, it's like my
daughter.
dad. My dad will tell my mom to tell me.
Oh.
I think my dad's a little bit shy.
Okay, fair enough. The brother who annoys you the most.
Ilhan.
He annoys you the most.
Yeah.
Like doing what?
He's just so irritating. I feel like all my interviews. I'm
Okay,
just
wait.
saying-
Ilhan is now
Ilhan-
playing for the Young Lions.
Yes,
Okay.
Ilhan is the second youngest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he annoys you the most.
Yeah, he just.
Alright.
It's not a bad thing. It's just like
Right,
he
right.
likes to pop in my room and just like
Ah,
hello, and then
right,
walk
right.
out without closing the
That's
door.
probably because he's at home, right?
Yeah.
Not the other two, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who cares for you the most? Brother.
Sibling. Okay, maybe Irian.
He's
Irian
the
and
last?
Iksan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Your number one critic.
Amongst who? Anybody?
Anyone.
Myself.
Yeah, anyone.
Myself.
Yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
myself.
Amongst the family, number one critic, who will tell you as it is, but means well.
Oh. Whoa, maybe mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of guessed that would be the answer. Your biggest achievement in your short career so far.
Would have to be the music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
signing with Universal.
Biggest disappointment so far.
Yeah. Biggest disappointment. I don't think I have any.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe, but I can't
Okay.
think of one at
Okay.
the top of my head.
Any regrets? No.
Regrets? I mean, everybody regrets a little bit.
Okay. Thanks. Someone whom you want to meet but you haven't met yet. Someone you really want to meet.
Zendaya and Rihanna.
Okay. Fair enough. So easy peasy, right? That's the end.
Easy.
Lovely. Now, what next for Iman Fandi? Any plans? Maybe 5 years down the road, baby steps, and then maybe 10 years down the road. Where do you see yourself, right? In 10 years. time?
5 years down the road, I see myself to have already put out more music, album, probably like have a concert or join a festival, and then 10 years time, well, I hope I'm married.
In 10 years time?
Yeah, I'm 21 now, so 31. Yeah.
Okay,
I
hint,
would-
guys. Are you attached, by the way? Sorry.
No, I'm not.
Okay, hint. In 10 years, you got a long way to go. No? 10 years, that's a long way to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So in 10 years' time, you want to get married. Nothing of the career sorts.
I mean, career, of course.
Yeah.
I also want to still focus on
Yeah,
music
understood,
and
yeah.
doing everything that I love.
Okay, you see your music thing going a long time? Like a couple of
think-
albums,
Yeah, I think it's something that you can do at any age. So
Okay.
I mean, I don't see myself stopping to put
Yeah.
out music. Because I mean, look at like everybody, they're putting out music at any age that they want. Yeah.
Well, lastly, any advice for any youngsters coming up youngsters, it's kind of weird, right? When you're 21. But it's okay, right? Because you've achieved this, which not many people would have done anyway, right?
yeah.
Like I said, I dreamt of being a singer before, but I'm not a singer right now.
You can try again.
Right? I'll try. So what advice do you have for them to make it in modeling as well, and also in singing? What kind of advice would you give them?
I think the biggest advice that I would give, and I also learned this, I think, just as I was getting in, debuting as a singer, is to take the risk, is to take the leap to try whatever you want, because if not, then you're gonna regret not doing it. And this is like your life, this is something that you're working towards, to build yourself, to grow yourself, to challenge yourself, whatever it is, to just take the risk, whether it's to say, oh, I like you to somebody, or to put out music, or to join a soccer team. Just take the risk. It's okay. Like, and if it fails, like, at least you did it. At least you did it. At least at least you tried.
Yeah. Well, that's great advice, right? You got to take a risk no matter what, and if you, especially if you love it, right?
Yeah.
If you like what you're doing, just try.
And to try and also block out whatever everybody says, and to just know who your main support system is, like your close friends and your family, and those around you. And you don't have to really listen to every single person. Yeah.
Great advice there, Iman Fandi. And before we go, would you like to sing us a couple of lines from your latest song? This is an impromptu, by the way. If
love me little more.
That's all. Well, Iman, thank you so much for being here on the Silverfox Hustle podcast. This is episode 60, by the way. And a shout out to Dad Fandi, Adrian, and Universal Music as well. Shout out to anyone you want to...
Shout out to you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Time off from your busy schedule. And for those of you who are listening at home, please follow Iman Fandi. She's everywhere, by the way. She's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter,
and
YouTube.
of course, listen to music, right? It's on Spotify, right?
It's on Spotify and Apple, and music videos on YouTube as well. So definitely check it out.
Nice. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube as well, the Silverfox Hustle podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Click on the subscribe and follow button, by the way. And till the next episode, which is 61 in the next few weeks or so, the hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. Cheers.